You're welcome back, and this is the Crossfire. I am still Ishama. And yes, we'll go straight into the discourse for today. Joining me in the discussion today is no other than Kive Kokori. He is a political analyst and, of course, a social commentator. Thank you for joining me, Kive.
Good morning, and thank you for having me, as always.
And also joining in the discussion is no other than Barrister Julius Ayoola. Of course, he's a legal practitioner and a policy and political analyst. And of course, they are both seasoned guests, seasoned gentlemen, which I know will do great justice to the discussion today. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now, before we go into the main focus for discussion, I will need your thoughts on the stories which I took earlier, some of the trending stories. Now, the acting president, Yemi Osibajo, has directed that the chief of army staff and then the army staff, they all relocate to Maiduguri. Now, Maiduguri, right now, Borno State, in respect to the Boko Haram insurgency. Do you think this is necessary? Do you think relocating to that part of the country will result into victory for the troops? Mr. Kive?
Well, that is a directive that the president, Mohamed Buhari, had given earlier at the beginning of this administration. I wasn't even aware that that directive has changed. So
maybe they had to move back to their regular base, in the wake of technically defeating the insurgents.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now that he's giving that directive again, I'm sure they have a reason for it. I would say maybe the previous one may have worked because obviously the insurgency has reduced compared to the way it was before, even though it's not been eliminated, but at least, it's a lot better than it used to be. So I would think that might be a good
reason. Professor Julius?
Well, for me, anything that has to do with security, I hardly criticize it.
Okay.
In as much as the desired result will be given at the end of the day. I'm not a military person. I don't have a military, background. I'm sure for him to have asked them to move to Maiduguri, probably is acting on some very serious and superior advice. Nonetheless, we should look more towards the radicalization of, our society.
Yeah.
Because it means that if they are fighting tomorrow in Borno State, in Edo State, we have to move our command again to Edo State.
Edo State.
If they are fighting on those states, we have to move our command to Edo State. We should not allow the terrorists to determine where our command centers would be. That is not what we can fight with weapons. We have to also create a system where people can be de-radicalized, they can change their orientation. Until that is done, there's nowhere in the world where you can say you have a terrorist-free society today. Nowhere in the world, even in London, in America.
But then their security intelligence gathering network is so strong.
But what you find out is that you have such terrorist behavior at the lowest level because the society is de-radicalized. In Nigeria, we are not doing that yet. There are a lot of people who are still illiterate, and they will tell them, if you die, you get 100 virgins in heaven. So people like that will still go and, wreak havoc. Okay,
now, terrorism is just one of the many security challenges affecting the country. I mean, armed banditry, and kidnapping, unfortunately, has become another order, in the southern part of the country. And then we've not quite seen as much being done by our security agencies in terms of forestalling that. Yes, I know there have been attempts here and there, but not as much efforts as we have seen the government put towards how they have tried to fight terrorism. And if this is not nipped in the bud, God forbid this may become another nightmare for the Nigerian nation. Now, do you think there should be more practical approach? Now, we know we have the police unit, which should be in charge of domestic matters, security matters in the country. Unfortunately, a lot of people do not have faith in the police force of today. Do you think it would be wise for the Army, for example, or the Navy or the Air Force to sweep into some of these challenges? I mean, this is a critical matter.
It's not the job of the military, in as much
as these are desperate times.
In as much as it sounds attractive, because military people are not trained for such activities. The issue is it boils down to what I've always said about restructuring. We need state police. These are internal security issues that a state police is supposed to handle. The reason why our federal police is not working as much as they should is because, look, internal security is local.
Okay.
If you don't have local knowledge, yeah, it's difficult for you to be able to get intel. Okay, you bring somebody from Burma, for example. He speaks only Hausa, and maybe can hardly understand English. How do you want the other people around that area to communicate if they have intelligence to give to him? They don't even trust him in the first place.
Yeah.
You understand? So the thing is, we should stop taking cosmetic approach to issues. Let's deal with issues. Let's follow best practices in the world. We have examples that other countries have done. Why should we be doing things wrongly at this time when there are several examples there that we can actually take a cue from?
Whereas Julius, you share
I share a sentiment 100% because, like you said, you have to have the native or local understanding of the environment where you're going to enforce the law. And sometimes you don't bring people who are already dehumanized to come and enforce the law. Nigerian police, I must tell you, is doing a fantastic job because they are like a dehumanized institution. You transfer somebody from Maiduguri to Lagos, there is no accommodation, he needs to sleep in the police station. This is the same person you want to go and arrest crime, and it comes to arrest crime in what terrain? In a terrain it's not familiar with. Lagos State is, is basing the trail with their, what do you call it, neighborhood security watch.
Which a lot of people have criticized.
They can give it whatever they like, I don't care. Anything that has to do with security, you care less about disadvantages. You look more to the advantages of security. These neighborhood watch guys, I tell you, will help reduce the rate of crime in Lagos because they know where they are posted is their terrain. They don't need to run after you to arrest you. They know that it's Mufu going.
But don't you think also over familiarity, for example, and then local influences?
It's part of the challenges.
Say the Oba or the Bale I mean, don't you think those will also affect?
It's something that will evolve over time. We can't get it right at the outset.
Immediately. Okay.
But I know over time we are going to improve. But it's the right way to go.
Okay.
You can't say because there's a disadvantage to something, if it is the right thing to do, you wouldn't do it. The issue is you look at the pros and the cons. Which one is more? And I think the pros way outweigh the
Okay, now let's quickly look at the story. Now, the acting chairman of the EFCC, Ibrahim Mago, has vowed to go after any corrupt individual, I mean, irrespective of how highly placed they are. And further to that, I know, yes, it may be laughable to you then, but then further to his statement, I mean, he attributed the high rate of poverty and infrastructural decay in the country to corruption.
I'm tired.
At this point, now let us not focus on Ibrahim Mago's statement. At this point, how else can we fight corruption?
Anti-corruption, that's what I'm going, that's where I'm going to. I'm tired of all these media trials and media brouhaha. The issue is, the anti-corruption, this government started with a huge promise on anti-corruption. But unfortunately, look, anti-corruption you can never say anti-corruption has worked. If there are no convictions, if people are not, if people if you don't do things that will make them see remorse for what they've done, the issue is all this thing is just shout, and we haven't seen any reasonable conviction. Even when they start asking how much have they recovered, they can't even give you a specific number. When they do, they will give you a number that is so insignificant that you now think that, is this why all this corruption shout is about? Because of how much? So at the end of the day, this government need to reappraise the anti-corruption strategy.
For me, it's really
because it hasn't worked.
It's really embarrassing that the acting chairman had to vow. So all this while he has not made a vow to arrest corruption.
There's been so many vows.
So he had to make a vow now.
He had to probably reaffirm that vow.
So he's telling Nigerians what they already know, that the reason for corruption is poverty and insecurity. We are aware of all those things. The problem with anti-corruption war has been explained and explained over and over again. It's very simple. If your investigation is not decent, you can't get convictions. These criminals are high-tech criminals. We cannot be operating analog criminal investigation method to arrest criminals that are high-tech criminals. It's not possible. Now, with the amendment of the Constitution going, I'm sorry to jump your gun, I would expect that Nigeria will toe the line of what is called punitive disgorgement when it comes to anti-corruption war. What does that mean? It simply means that we need to do away with the burden on the state having to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Because that burden is very heavy for the state. And that's the reason why the criminal, once they get to court, they will hire as many lawyers as possible, although nobody wins the case by a battalion of lawyers. But where the burden from the outset is placed on the suspect,
The accused.
on the accused person, it simply means that all the state needs to do is to wait for him to explain how he came into stupendous wealth. But up to today, Nigerian criminal jurisprudence is that a criminal has nothing to say.
I may need to jump in on that.
That
now.
must prove. Look, for corruption-related cases, we can take a departure to say, apart from another crime, but for corruption cases, so the burden to prove that you are not, guilty is on you, the defendant, who has so much.
Now, you just made mention of all of this should have been put at the fore of the constitutional amendment. Now, you look at the constituents of the Nigerian Senate. These are individuals who previously, one-time governor or deputy governor who, unfortunately, since 2007 have had corruption-related cases in court. Now, do you think, judging by the pedigree of some of these issues, do you think this would be an initiative they would take on their own?
No, they wouldn't. They would never take it. Why would they take it? Because they themselves are living on the edges. They would never take such a move where a suspect will have to establish that he's not guilty. They won't, because a good number of them, like Magu has been saying, have cases to answer. So it means that when they are charged to the court, they are the ones that open their cases. And that they don't want to do. So they would never even support a law that would put the burden on them to establish that they will never support it. I'm not expecting serious reforms from these 8, what do you call them?
Assembly.
They can't give you any reform. Whatever they do now is cosmetic. All they do is just to use, like, Senator Sani Shewu's expression, using deodorant to kill. It won't work.
Okay. No, but let's look at this approach also. I remember Professor Issei Sage, the presidential advisor, and then on legal judiciary matters to the presidency. At the beginning of this administration, he talked and campaigned for creation of special courts for criminal matters in terms of corruption-related cases and all that. Now, if that part was told first in ensuring lobbying to ensure that those special courts were created, before having to go full-fledged into the anti-corruption, what do you think? Probably there would have been some proper results. Do you think that would have helped?
I was in support of that. But looking at all the situation, like he said, it's not just the courts. The prosecution also is very important.
It's one thing. It's one thing to have a very strong defense, but it's another thing for the court not to be extremely overwhelmed.
I said I was in support of that, but there are other things also that are involved. The only good thing that would do is that it would expedite these cases. But if the prosecution also does not do that, look, a judge cannot rule on what is not on the table. You understand? So the issue is this whole system is so corrupt. We sit here and we talk every day, and we talk and talk, we call God, we do everything. At the end of the day, it is human beings. Laws are made for human beings. Human beings are not made for laws. So the issue is, if we don't change ourselves, if we don't purge ourselves, and there is no punishment, serious punishment for wrongdoing, we'll keep going roundabout on all these issues of corruption. You understand? Because at the end of the day, even the FCC is corrupt. The judiciary is corrupt. The legislators, most of them are bandits, sorry to use that word. So how do things change in this country? It's unfortunate.
Now, yesterday, the House of Representatives amended 27 out of 33 bills that scaled through the constitutional amendment process at that level. And one of those includes 35% for women in ministerial positions and reduction of age for those seeking to become president, governors, and federal lawmakers. Now, do you, gentlemen, before I go into the main question, do you believe in equality of persons?
Look, in today's world, it's only somebody who has a terrible mind that will not believe in equality of sexes. Believing in equality of sexes is not the same thing as practicing it. Look, Nigerians are not really bothered for now whether you have 10% of women in the government. They care less. What they want now is a government that will provide the basic things of life. All these women rights, I love them. Look, I'm an advocate of, my area of research is on women.
Okay.
And their special human rights.
Promulgation of women rights.
Yes. Now, but that is not the issue in Nigeria. It's not an issue for now. Whether you give 45% to women, it's not an issue. We have had women in this country who are accused of massive corruption.
We've also had women who have done
so
extremely well.
Nigeria's case is not a case of gender imbalance. It's a case of elitist problem. The elite determines the taste and the fashion of society according to their own taste. That is not what
But I mean, need to throw in this dimension
society.
also. Government also lays the groundwork for which society emanates from.
And you can't be making, sorry to cut, you can't be making all these amendments and the parties will sell their nomination forms for 5 million, 25 million naira. We need to change from, you can't say, okay, women now have rights, but the form for you to contest is about 5 million naira. Where is she going to get that from? Then she will spend so much money into campaign, then at the end of the day, somebody will superimpose whatever
You're tempting me to go into the main focus of this.
I believe in equality for every human being, whether gender, color, whatever. We're all created equally and we should have equal rights. But the issue is, Nigeria, we have to move away from parochial issues. We have to start thinking of competence. And that's where zoning, all these rubbish, parochial, mundane issues, we always try to create for ourselves. The issue is, women and men should have the same pedestal to aspire to any position. When you say 35% affirmative action for women, so if you have crap women at that point, so you should put them as ministers if they can't perform. The issue is a man and a woman should be given the same pedestal. But unfortunately, it's not happening in this country because many people will come here and talk in public and say, oh, we believe in the same rights for women. But it's a lie. That's why one of the problems in this National Assembly, and which is what I said, in any civilized country, when National Assembly, when they are voting, they need to show one who voted for what. They just write, oh, yes, vote. 60, no vote, this. You need to put the names of the legislators because their constituencies need to know what they are voting for. You understand? Even all these legislators, I'm sure most of them did not even go and have stakeholders meetings in their constituencies to know what their constituencies want before they even vote. So they shouldn't shroud all these things in secrecy. Let everybody know who is voting for what, so that people can hold them accountable for their votes.
I need to understand something. Now, I know on Wednesday, the House of Representatives was divided on amendments as regards to e-voting during elections. And some representatives from a particular part of the country opposed heavily to it and said they would not vote on that until they go back to their constituencies and get their opinion on that before voting. But we have seen, now my issue is, if they understand that they have to go back to relay some of these bills to their constituencies to get their opinions, how come the Senate, and then when they voted yesterday, the House of Representatives, they did not go back? We did not see town hall meetings or constituencies have meetings.
They don't owe you allegiance.
Now, ideally, shouldn't that be the case?
That should be the case, but they don't owe you allegiance.
So if they opposed to e-voting during elections, because maybe they felt their people will be disenfranchised because they're not properly educated on how to use these facilities, how come they have put Nigerians in the box by voting on issues which are pertinent to Nigerians or voting against issues?
You see, let me tell you something for a fact. A good number of those guys are not the people's representative in actual fact. By some misgiving, they just found themselves in that chamber. And they become people-oriented when a particular law or bill will affect their personal interest. Yeah. I quite agree with you that how many times have they raised the issue of going back to their constituencies to discuss with them before they would vote? But because this has to do with voting, and in some part of Nigeria today, we know that the last election recorded a number of children voting and a number of non-Nigerians also voting in some part of Nigeria. I'm not too sure. I don't have the statistics. But the point I'm making is that e-voting may, quote and unquote, not be very good.
May?
Yes, in some parts of Nigeria because of high level of illiteracy. Even the last election I was held in Lagos State, I don't think the e-voting was used across all the platforms. In some places, they did it manually. In some places, maybe they just...
It's not about training. Nations prepare in advance. They train citizens in advance.
Where am I going? Where I'm going is that if we want to do e-voting, we should not just say we want to do e-voting because we have the floor of the Senate to address the House. We must ask ourselves, do we have the technological know-how? Do we have the technological platform to ensure that this thing, at least, even if we can't get it 100%, we should be able to get at 85, 90%. That's the question. In most cases, people will tell you, I went to the place, my name is not on the, what do you call it, on their machine. They asked me to come back. My fingerprint is not coming up well. Some will go and impress on their thumbprint some maybe chemicals that will not make it to show on the screen. These are challenges. We need to show that these challenges can be surmounted properly or have been surmounted properly before we should discuss voting by electronic means. Because if you ask an average Nigerian, say, yes, if you want to vote e-voting, say no. They just say those things for fun.
So in your own opinion, Nigeria is not right?
They should advise them. I'm not saying we're not right. We should advise ourselves first by finding out whether we have sufficient scientific platform to do e-voting. We should not just do it because they are doing it in the US, they do it in the UK. No. We should ask ourselves that so that when there is issue, we can resolve that issue through a scientific means.
Okay, Kive.
Even though I agree with your concern, but e-voting is the way to go. The reason why I say that is the only way you can, have some integrity in elections usually now, especially in a society like this where rigging is the order of the day, is where there is some level of technology that would, create more integrity as opposed to doing it manually. There is always a reverse to manual where the technology does not work. And I'll tell you why I say so. When we brought in electronic card readers to do accreditation in the 2015 elections, you could see that the integrity of their elections was way better than what we used to have, even though there were itches. You understand? But these issues will be resolved as time goes on. But the thing is, electronic voting obviously would make the integrity. You realize that as we do more elections from 2015, the integrity of the elections is getting better compared to what it was. You understand? And I believe that. But I understand your concern.
It's not because of the device.
We need to deal with
the elections are getting better, not because they have used e-voting. Rather, they are getting better because Nigerians are becoming self-aware.
I disagree with you 100%.
Do you know why? 10%. Nigerians today will go to the polls after they have cast they will stay with the polls. They will stay.
Wait.
They will, in fact, they are beaming everything going on their life. Okay. It's because people are now socially aware. They are now political. I'm not saying e-voting is not good. It's a very good method. But I'm only saying that the reason, because like you rightly said, in some places, they will tell you if you can't do e-voting, you go back to manual. How do we know at that point in time that the INEC officer is saying the e-voting is not going to fly? What if he says, for me, this thing is not working, let's go manually, because he has a mistake in mind?
I'm from Delta State, right? In Delta State, elections before, in the riverine areas, let's say 70,000 people register. They will bring a result with 70,000 people. When card readers started being used, the numbers dropped significantly because immediately the card reader is working. It transmits the numbers to the main database in INEC in Abuja. So it reduced rigging significantly. I'm not telling you rigging has stopped, but it reduced it. Before, they don't do elections.
So you're saying if we perfect that, then we should be able to prevent
I am not
e-voting.
saying I'm against e-voting. What I'm saying is that the challenges of e-voting, have we been able to resolve them? There are challenges.
If we don't start, how will we know the
No, we have started. We have started in 2015. We used e-voting.
No, that was in. That was
card reader. But have we been able, even the card reader, have we been able
to perfect?
But we started
to perfect
okay, now
the challenges.
I need you to pause on that thought. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll go into the main focus for discuss. This is the Crossfire. We'll be right back.
Piper.
All right, you're welcome back, and this is to Crossfire. I still have Kive Kokori in the studio, and I still have Julius Ayoola in the studio. And of course, we have been discussing Nigeria's issues, how to find a way. Would we ever come out of this quagmire? That's a billion-dollar question, which we hope we'll find answers to someday. Now, since we began talking about the electoral process, now, the Senate voted to remove State Independent Electoral Commission from the Constitution and transfer the functions to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Now, we have talked about how overburdened INEC is. Do you think this will help the elections in Nigeria become more transparent? Because if you look at the statistics across the country, rumor has it, or facts on ground currently has it, that the states manipulate the local government elections in their favor so as to continue holding on power to probably oppress the people. Do you think that's actually true?
That is very true. 100% true. In almost all the states where the governor is in Party A, all the local government become Party A. That is not democracy.
But we've had cases where,
very
that
rare.
hasn't
the election at the state level should be given to INEC.
Okay.
Since they don't have the same timetable, the issue of INEC being overwhelmed or being overburdened will never arise. Elections for local governments and national elections are not done at the same time. So INEC can handle that election perfectly well. The state are not doing well with those elections. What they do is that they possibly write the result somewhere and say, just go and give them the result. They don't let them go to court. Before they come back from court, the tenure will have lapsed. That is the kind of scenario we have now. If you follow the news, penultimate week, we have one man in a court, and I think in Mushin or something.
He's challenging.
They staged a rally with women bearing their chests in the open just because they felt the elections were rigged. The question is, those people who came out, that type of crowd, they were so massive. Does it mean that, in actual fact, their votes were not counted? Because if they could come out in their number to even complain almost naked, it means that they must have voted in a particular way, and the result is not showing the pattern of their vote. So they have to come and complain.
They were paid for?
I wouldn't know that.
Look, many Nigerian politicians they further their own self-interest, and it's been proven that the state local government elections organized by the state electoral commissions are sham. They just write results. And look, in Lagos State, for example, today, Ambode is in APC. If 2 days before the election, if Ambode comes to PDP, PDP will win all the local government elections in Lagos State. So that should tell you that these things are not the true reflection of the people. So I would support that INEC should conduct those elections, because it's been a shame that, these things have been going on for so long. How many states have you seen where opposition win one local government? They will just give them maybe like two or three councillorship seats or one local government just to say another party won elections. That's what they do.
Okay,
they
now
just write results.
I know Nigerians have been clamoring for independent candidature. Now, the Senate also did vote in favor of independent candidature, but Nigerians expected that this, the Senate will have sat down to better our electoral system. Now, as it is done in advanced climes, in saner climes, there is a budgetary restriction on how much Party A should spend during electioneering, either the party or the individual. Now, we have seen in Nigeria's politics, we have asked ourselves questions on how billions of dollars have been moved, for campaign purposes. And obviously not from an independent source, but from the national coffers. They've been making room for corruption. Now, we expected that this would have been tabled down. Certain budgetary restrictions will have been made. And if there was a default to that, then that election or that candidate will be nullified from the election. Now, that hasn't come up here. Don't you think, this whole constitutional amendment process is not quite in favor of the Nigerian people?
Look, the Nigerian constitution, I think I should say this clearly. The current 1999 constitution is a constitution that was brought into being by the military.
But we've had various alterations in quotes.
It does not reflect the people. Obviously, constitution is also run by human beings, you understand? But I think that this Nigerian constitution that we're using currently should be scrapped, and we should get a new constitution that will reflect the people, that a referendum will be done at the end of the day to actually accept the constitution. But that being said, this whole amendment that is going on, it's unfortunate that this amendment is being done by people who are not statesmen. Look, Nigerian politicians, many of them are not statesmen. They think about their own personal interests.
But they address themselves as statesmen.
No, that is just bollocks. The issue is a lot of the things they are amending are things that affect them. Okay. Very few of them affect the Nigerian people. And you realize that when a Nigerian politician is in a position, today there are people, you see senators and House of Rep members, an amendment that favors them, they will vote for it. Immediately they leave that Senate and go and become a governor or something. An amendment that favors the state, they will vote for it. They will accept it. But if it doesn't favor them, they will switch. So the issue is, we should have statesmen running this country. As long as we don't have statesmen running this country, Nigeria can never have anything good. It's unfortunate that I'm saying this, but that's the situation.
That's the truth.
You share same thought?
Yeah, I share same thought, except that I disagree on his view on Nigerian constitution. Nigerian constitution, as it is one of the best in Africa. I'm telling you.
Probably that's why Africa is underdeveloped.
No, the problem with that constitution is that you have people who are not very, very patriotic running that constitution. There is a provision in our constitution against unnecessary finance of political parties. Our law even clearly states how they can get money, how much they can. You can't just bring money from anywhere, but nobody is enforcing any of these laws. The idea that the constitution is brought by military is spent. It's not. We have been running this constitution now since 1999.
Have we developed?
I'm coming. We have been running this constitution since 1999. We have people have claimed their fundamental rights under that same constitution.
Behind Almighty.
President has been sworn in under that constitution. Even your right to land, to life, to dignity, we have fought for it under that same constitution. So you can never have a perfect constitution, and it is not always true that in a country it is the people that must write. In fact, America never sat anywhere to say, "Oh yeah, Chicago come, New York you come, Illinois let us write." There was never a time, even England, there was never a time like that. The idea that a constitution must be homegrown is rooted in the theory of autochthony. It's very decent for you to sit down and write your constitution. But sometimes a law can emanate from an extra-legal origin, such as the military, giving us the constitution. Having given us the constitution, we have the opportunity to amend it to suit whatever purpose that we desire in our minds. But assuming this constitution is not going to be amended, assuming it is not to be amended, can we say it's a good constitution? The answer is yes. Then what is the problem? We have evil men. Evil men don't obey the law. Evil men will determine who becomes the IG. So evil men will determine who becomes the CJN. So the problem is the practitioners are the problem of our country. The moment you have decent people who are lovers of Nigerians first, in our legislature, Nigeria will move forward.
I need to take you on that now. You've said it all. We probably do not have lovers of Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, I'm afraid that may take a very long time.
It won't.
To achieve.
In 2019,
but in the event, we hope. But in the event that takes very long, should the people continue suffering? That is where people look towards referendum. That is where people look
referendum.
towards
We keep saying referendum. What is the constitutional basis for that referendum? Is it in our constitution?
That is why it should be amended to include that.
Let me give an analogy. You said something. You said Nigerian constitution is being run by evil men. That's a very strong word. When evil people are doing something, you have to make sure that whatever they are using to operate is watertight. Because they are evil, they always look for loopholes. You understand? So the fact that we have evil men, let me give you an example. It's like if you're running a hotel in the UK, for example, you don't have to go and sleep in the hotel because the people that are your staffs there will not tell you that 5 people came to sleep in the hotel, whereas it's 50 people. In Nigeria, as an hotelier, You have to be in that, I mean, a medium scale hotel. You have to sit there and sleep there every day. Because the people working for you will tell you that 5 people came, whereas 50 people came.
Do you know what?
So the issue is this. We, as Nigerians, are not truthful people. That's why I said
not true.
we don't have statements.
Nigerians are very truthful.
We're truthful, but maybe we have more.
What
Nigerians are truthful. What Nigerians are facing with life has caused war in some countries. If you listen to what caused war in Congo, in Rwanda, all this place, when you hear the money, you feel how much is the money. Nigerians are very truthful. What they are facing is what people will face, and they go and commit suicide or go and become terrorists. Nigerians are very strong. The problem with Nigeria is that we have people who are running our government who are not lovers of Nigeria. No. It's very simple. All we need to do, the people must realize that the power to run the country is in our hands. All we need to do is to ensure that.
Law. Don't you think we need a watertight law, like he said?
You know what happened in Venezuela?
Yeah, I mean, they are the brink of a civil war.
No. The people recently, people went into their parliament and beat all the people there up.
But Nigerians won't
do that. Just to tell you that when the people get angry to a level, they can manifest anything. Now, all we need to do in Nigeria to move forward is very simple. By 2019, for me, there is no good reason why anybody or any member in our assembly should be returned. There is no good reason. Even if he was able to move 45 bills, lucky for him, he came with a bad tide, you have to go with them. There is no single reason why any one of them should be returned, because they are not lovers. Now
let me ask you this question. Gentlemen, let me ask you this question. Now, if based on what you have said now, that there on no basis should any of them be returned back, do we have a system where Mr. A is contested for a particular position, Nigerians can verify his pedigree, where he's coming from, his background, where has he worked, what kind of track record does he have, how many people even know who is representing them? Talk more of his antecedents for them to trust to vote for such.
A country's leadership is a reflection of its people. You and I are seated here and talking because we're enlightened and we know what obtains in other parts of the world. In Nigeria, many of the electorates are illiterates. A lot of them are thinking of what they are going to eat. You give them 500 naira, they will vote for you. The issue is the Nigerian people themselves. The leadership over time have pauperized the people to a certain level that all they think about is survival for today. You understand? And the leadership know that that is the way to dominate the people continuously. And that's why they keep making sure that the people are pauperized. The issue is that the Nigerian people need to come to a point where they stop thinking of today and start thinking of tomorrow. You understand? So the problem of Nigeria is not only the leadership. Some years ago, I used to think it's only the leadership. But the people themselves have problems. You've talked about Venezuela, where the people will go to the parliament and lock down the parliament. How many Nigerians will you see? Look at Bring Back Our Girls. Look at their protesting. How many people come out to protest with them? You count them, maybe about 15 people.
I will tell you why. The reason why you will find it very difficult to get Nigerians to, give you that kind of impression that happens in Venezuela is that an average Nigerian has individual hope. In other countries, once the government goes broke, everybody is feeling it.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, an average individual is a survivor. He has something coming tomorrow. He has something coming tomorrow. Look, I'm not interested. He has something coming tomorrow. That's the problem.
But that's a good thing.
No, it's a good thing, but it's a problem
for
us.
But then how do we
cannot
use
aggregate,
that good
you can't aggregate,
to develop the country? You
can't aggregate them in one place to say, look, all of us, we are going to do X, Y, Z. They will tell you, listen to me. Tomorrow, I have some check to pick up. I won't be part of this thing.
It's not a good thing.
The moment you have individual hope in the country, then you know you're in a bad country.
Good thing when that
country must have, people must have collective hope. You must know that even when I'm poor and I fall ill, I have a place to go to that they will take care of me. My insurance will cover it.
And then the government should be accountable.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing.
It should be applicable to a country where each person determines his survival rate on its own. I mean, it's
not a good thing when the hope
thing.
is based on corrupt practices. And what are the hope based on? Is the hope based on having a good health care?
The hope is based on survival.
Survival of what?
When they
Because
what do you want them to do?
Because you see the
What do you
man
want
next
Nigerians
door
to do?
being a councillor tomorrow,
That's the
and he
reason why-
bought a car.
that's
You
the-
will now be hoping that, oh, me too, I'll become a, maybe I'll become a
That's the reason why I
councillor
tell
and buy a
you
car.
that
What is the hope?
the people are the owners of tomorrow.
Okay, now, gentlemen.
Even when you don't give them money, they still vote. You know what they'll tell you? Even when I go say, I don't go say, they go still go win. Let me come and take the money.
Okay.
So when they don't take the money, they are losing out.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because they feel whether I take the money or not, the result will go in a particular way. Let me take the money.
Okay, gentlemen. No, it's a popular saying.
We stop that.
It's a popular saying that the voice of the people is the voice of God. We need you to please call us on any of the numbers scrolling across the TV screen. Let us know your opinion on all of these issues, please. But then, of course, remember, when you make a comment, it has to be precise, concise, and no defamatory statement. We expect your calls. Now, gentlemen, restructuring has always been a very major discussion across board, across all quarters. For some persons, they see it as the end means, not the means to an end. But irrespective of that, now the Senate voted against devolving powers to the state, but voted for local government autonomy. And having that, revenue for the local government will come directly from the federation account. Now, we also know that it doesn't just stop at the Senate and the House of Representatives. The various states, House of Representatives, House of Assemblies, rather, will need to vote in that. Now, we know it's a common practice across the 36 states of the federation to stifle the local government. Now, do you see this coming to light in favor of the people at the end of the day?
I don't think it's only about the local government autonomy. The issue is, the main thing a lot of people have been talking about, which I've started talking about a long time ago, is restructuring and devolution of powers to the federating units. Right now, we say we are running a federation. It's not. We are running a unitary government. And a unitary government is where you have power in the center, and then the center determines
Can you trust the state?
Look. The issue is
whether you can
we need to explain restructuring.
Whether you can trust them.
Now we need to probably get what restructuring is
the
in
restructuring that I understand is devolve powers to the federating units. Let the federating units have control over their human and natural resources, and then they pay royalties to the federal government. The federal government handles...
Please pause on that. So let's take Peter's call. Hello, Peter. Good morning. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning to the gentleman in the house. Gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What I see in this country is that we have so many problems. Nigeria is like a basket, tomato basket. When you close this place, the other place is leaking. The people call the House of Assembly, Federal House, and all that stuff are the problem of Nigeria. Even though
you think so?
Individually, as a Nigeria as a whole, everybody has his own collective problem. Yeah, if you go to the polling station where we vote, you will see people collecting money. 1,000 naira to vote for me, 2,000 naira to vote for me, 500 rice. What is that? Look, they have rendered Nigerian people to the extent of whereby everybody is after what I will eat, only me and my stomach, me and my family. Until we, Nigerians, forget about you are Hausa man, you are a German, you are a Domian, or that, come together and say, this is what we want.
All right.
Nigeria can never get it right.
Okay, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Thank you so much. Now, we may not be able to take further calls as our time is far spent. But, gentlemen, wrapping up, your final thoughts.
For me, when we say restructuring, we have to put it in proper perspective.
Okay.
Nigeria runs on a list formula. If you check our constitution, you have two lists. Exclusive legislative list, reserved for the federal government. Then you have the concurrent legislative list. The exclusive has about 68 items on it, over which only the federal government can make laws. The concurrent has about 30 items on it, over which the states, the two of them can make laws on it. So it means that federal government has about 98 lists of items to work on, because the moment a state goes into one area and they come into that area, that state must, the power of the state must be kept in abeyance. Federal government will cover the field. They should be limited, like electricity, should be given to the states.
To the states, yes.
They should be limited to defense, currency, and internal security.
Okay. Let me quickly take Mr. Kive.
Yes.
So sorry for that time. Mr.
What
Kive,
you said about the exclusive and concurrent list is the same devolution of powers we're talking about. Devolve more powers to the federating units. But the issue is, as I said earlier, we don't have statesmen running Nigeria. These senators today, because they are there, they will vote against devolution of power because it does not favor them. If you devolve power, their perks of office will reduce. So they will vote against it. The moment they become governors, they will vote for devolution of powers because more money will come to them. So the moment we have statesmen running the country will change. And if Nigerians as well decide to do the right thing and stop thinking of what they will eat today and not tomorrow for the future.
If we have statesmen, well, 2019 is around the corner. We also hope that Nigerians can begin to do their homeworks, do their findings, and make sure that the right persons are voted into office. Those who will take Nigeria from the level it is today to the promised land. Yes, this is how much you can take on Crossfire today. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We would love to see you next week. Have a beautiful weekend and God bless Nigeria.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.